And welcome to today's video where I'll be talking you through the British athletics team that has been selected for the up and coming European Indoor Athletics Championships. The reason I'm making this video now and not earlier when the initial team was announced was because there's been some changes. Elliot Giles has pulled out, not due to injury, just because he wants to focus on the up and coming Olympic Games. And also some big names have been added to the team, such as Morgan Lake and Jasmine Sawyers, as well as a few others who I will get through later in this video. So without any further ado, let's move on to the first selections. And let's start with the men's 60, where Harry AA has been selected alongside Oliver Bromby and Andy Robertson. Andy obviously won the 60 at the Euro Indoor Trials recently in a time of 6:61. And Ollie has a season's best of 6:65 and was second in the trials with 6:67. Harry, probably the most established of the three, has run 6:67 this season, but has a 6:55 PB, and he has the qualifying standard from the outdoors back in 2019. Harry is, of course, the reigning British outdoor champion and over 100 metres. And I'm hoping we can see all three of them do well. I reckon a final place is possible for the three of them, and Andy could potentially medal, so I'm excited to see that. Moving on to the men's 400, the selections are Joe Breer, Lee Thompson and James Williams. It's James's in GB debut. He didn't make any appearances as a junior or under 23 athlete either, so it's a really special occasion for him. He's really starting to flourish in the 400, and he ran 46.6 in the trials, as did Lee, but he was slightly slower, 46.65. Joe Breer has also run 46.81 this indoor season, so they're all in good nick, but I reckon their best chance of a medal will be in the relay, which I will talk about later. Moving on to the 800, where obviously Elliot Giles has withdrawn from, we still have two good medal potentials, I believe, in Guy Learmonth, who is obviously an esteemed athlete, 144.7 outdoors, and he's been on fine form so far this year indoors, comfortably winning the British indoor trials, and I'm excited to see what he can do, as I see him as a real championship performer. We also have Jamie Webb, the current Euro Indoor silver medalist, who recently broke the old British record, but obviously was second to Giles in that race, and therefore doesn't have it. But 144.5 indoors is a seriously impressive time. So he's heading the European lists of those athletes who will be competing in the championship. So I expect them both to make the final, and I reckon we can see medals from both of them. Anyway, moving on to the 1500, we have a few good athletes here, with Neil Gawley really heading the way. He's obviously a world finalist and made the Euro indoor final last time around, but had to withdraw due to an injury, so we didn't get to see him running there, which is a shame. But he's a top athlete, and he'll be joined by Piers Copeland and Archie Davis. Piers Copeland especially has been showing great indoor form this season, so with a 3:38 season's best, so I'm excited to see what he will be able to do. Anyway, moving on to the men's 3000, with Andy Butcher, Jack Rowe and Marc Scott. Marc Scott, to be fair, for me was the sort of surprise selection, as I didn't really expect him to be there. Obviously he's good enough, and he's proven that with his recent form, including a 7:36 3000 outdoors and a 27:10 10k, which is inside the Olympic standard. So he is in flying form, and I reckon he can get a medal. I also reckon Andy can get a medal, as he is lots of experience on the top stage. Obviously 6 at the Olympics, 8 at the London World Champs, and he's run 7:40 indoors, which is a serious time this year as well. Jack Rowe, however, beat him at the Euro Indoor Trials with 7:54, so I reckon he can make the final, but I think he'll struggle for a medal. Anyway, moving on to the men's 4x4 team. There's obviously Joe, James, and Lee, who are running the individual 400, and they will be joined by Owen Smith, a great relay runner who's run 46.3 indoors himself, coming back from a bit of an injury he picked up in 2019 though, has run 47.4 this year. Tom Summers, obviously a prodigious junior athlete, running 20.3 over 200 back in 2014. He's coming good over the 400 as well now though, with 47.0 indoors this season. He was part of the relay team at the last Euro indoors where they came 5th, but I think they'll fare slightly better this time. And also joining them is Ife Okoro, a Birchfield Harrier, who won bronze at the British Champs over the 400 hurdles last year, so I'm excited to see how he will go. He was part of the relay team in the 2018 Birmingham World Indoors as well, so good to see him back on the GB team. Now in the men's 60 hurdles, we have Andy Pozzi, a former Euro indoor champ and obviously the reigning world champ indoors. He's a great indoor runner and recently came second to Grant Holloway in that amazing race where Grant broke the world record. He's got a season's best of 7:51, which definitely puts him up there, and I reckon Andy can definitely mix it with the medals. I'm excited to see what he can do. Now moving on to the men's pole vault, we have Charlie Myers, who's a strong athlete we've seen compete well throughout the years. 5:71 is his PB from 2019 outdoors. Then we have in the long jump, Jakob Finch and Dukes. I'm excited to see how he does because he obviously won the British indoor trials with 8:08, which was an amazing performance. And he's obviously a former Euro junior silver medalist, so I'm excited to see what he can do. I reckon a final space is definitely possible. And then there's Joel Kahn, who won the Euro Indoor Trials with 2:23. He's also the British Outdoor Champion, and I think we can see some good things from him going into these Euro Indoors. And now on to the women's selections. Sadly, no woman in the 60 metres as the athletes such as Dina picked up a slight injury, and then Asher Phillip and Darryl Neater, as well as some others, all declined their invites from British Athletics, which is a shame, but they're saving themselves for the outdoors, I presume, so let's hope we can see them fare well there. Anyway, so on to the women's 400, we have Jessie Knight, Amma Pippi and Jodie Williams, so an all-star lineup there. A potentially controversial decision in selecting Amma Pippi over Zoe Clark, who's run 42.02 this year. Amma Pippi has a season's best of 42.99, but Amma did beat Zoe at the Euro Indoor Trials, so I think that's a solid selection, and Zoe is, of course, going in the relay. Jessie ran 51.9 last year indoors to win the Birmingham Muller Indoor Grand Prix, and Jodie Williams, of course, needs no introduction. She's been a stalwart of the British team recently, and it's great to see her running some indoor 400s, as I think that is probably the distance where I reckon she can do best in the future, especially with her runs in 2019. Anyway, moving on to the women's 800, we've got a very good young lineup here, including Keely Hodgkinson, recent World Under-20 record holder, Isabel Boffey, the European Under-20 champion, and Ellie Baker, a European Under-23 medalist. So I'm excited to see what they can do. This is definitely one for the future, but I think they could do well in the present, especially with Keely Hodgkinson. 159.0 indoors is no joke, and I reckon she can get in and amongst the medals, as can the others, to be fair. They're all extremely talented, obviously. And on to the women's 1500, we have Holly Archer, who is the British indoor champion from last year, won the British trials this year with a indoor PB of 4:10, and she's joined by Katie Snowden. Good to see Katie getting back. She got bronze at the British outdoors last year. and was really at her best around 2017-18 before picking up a slight injury. But she went to the Commonwealth Games and is a quality athlete, so I'm excited to see what she can do. I reckon both of them are in with a shout of making the final, but obviously the women's 1500 is a extremely quality event in Europe at the minute. Now the women's 3000, we have Amy Eloise Markov, previously Amy Eloise Neal, who's based over in America and recently ran a British national best, so national record, for the indoor 2 miles, which was good to see. And that was a very good converted, sub-9 converted 3000 time as well, which is strong. And Verity Okudin, who has been running really well at the minute in some great form, run 8:51 in one of the Brighton Sport Invitationals just before the trials, and then went on to win the trials as well, so great to see her form. And Amelia Quirk, based in Birmingham, in her first indoor race at the trials, finished second and secured her space for the Euro Indoors here. So she's done really well to make the team, and she is a quality cross-country runner, so I'm excited to see what she can produce. I reckon all these women are within a shout of making... Oh, I think it's probably a straight final for the 3000, so yeah, I'm just hoping to see them get as close to the medals as possible, and I think that is a possibility. So then for the women's 4x4 relay, we have Zoe Clark, as previously mentioned, as well as the individual 400 runners in Jessie, Amma and Jodie. And joining them will be Yasmin Liverpool, who has competed in the Euro under-23s and the Euro teams as part of the relay, so she's a strong runner. Took bronze at the British Outdoors last year as well. And Beth Dobbin, she's another strong 200 metre runner who I'm excited to see over the 400, as I think she can flourish there. She's been selected for some relay teams in the past, but has had to pull out due to various reasons, so I'm hoping we get to see her run this time. Though obviously there's no heat for the 4x4 in these championships, so maybe not, but yeah, it's a good team and I think they can definitely medal, as they got a silver last time as well. Now, the women's pole vault is Holly Bradshaw. She vaulted 485 early this season, just 2 centimetres off her British record of 487, which is a really strong performance and puts her way up on the European indoor rankings this year. And she took a silver last time. She's a former champion back in 2013, and I would be very surprised if she wasn't amongst the medals again, and I reckon a gold is definitely possible. Speaking of athletes who can medal, we have 2 quality women here in Abigail Irizuru and Jasmine Sawyers, both of them 680 long jumpers at their best. They haven't been looking too amazing so far this season, though Jasmine especially has been coming into some decent form recently with the 650 jump in Belgrade the other night. They're both world/Olympic finalists at their best, and Jazz is a European and Commonwealth outdoor medalist, so she's definitely good enough to be at this medal at this level, as is Abigail, as she made the 2019 World Final. Excited to see what we can see from both of them. I think a medal is possible, though the final is more likely for both of those ladies. And now the women's high jump. I'm really excited to see what Morgan Lake can produce after her recent 196 Olympic qualifying standard in Belgrade. It's good to see her coming back into some form, as she's had a shaky couple of years, but is looking back to her best. And she will be joined by Emily Borthwick on her GB Senior debut, which is really cool. Emily recently jumped 187 at the British European Indoor Trials, so it's good to see her selection as well. Now the women's shot, this is one I'm really excited for. Obviously Sophie McKinnott is in some flying form and jumped and put it over 18 metres, I think 5 times at the recent European Indoor Trials in Loughborough. And one of those throws was her PB of 1850. So she's in some really strong form. as is Amelia Strickler, who was over 17 metres in that event. And I'm hoping to see if she can push her PB of 1797, I think it is, and get over that 80 metre mark, because that is a real boundary in women's shot put. So it's good to see them both here, and I think Sophie especially can get in amongst the medals. Sadly, on the men's event, Scott Lincoln's invitation was declined by European Athletics. I'm not sure why, but hopefully we'll see him in more champs in the future, as he is now throwing over 20 metres somewhat consistently, which is great to see. And in the women's pentathlon, we have Holly Mills, who will be trying to follow the amazing performances of Neve Emerson and KJT at the last Euro Indoors, where they took gold and silver. I'm not quite expecting that from her here, but she was recently over 4,500 at the Euro Indoor Trials, so she's obviously in good form, and I'm excited to see what she can do, as she is proved to us time and time again that she is a promising up-and-coming athlete. And then finally, we have the women's 60 metres, where we have the Ophelia twins, though obviously sisters, though obviously neither of them are called Ophelia anymore. We have Tiffany Porter, who is a former European outdoor champion, and I'm excited to see if she can medal here, as she's looking good this season. 780, I think she's ran. And Cindy Sember, who has run 8:02 this season and obviously came fourth at the Rio Olympics. So they're a real quality duo, and they're joined by Emma Nofour, who I've seen competing in America also. So good to have three women in the 60 hurdles again, as recently, sort of post 2015, the standard in that event has dropped a bit, especially with the sisters' sort of injury battles. So it's good to see that they're getting back to some form and the event's on the rise again. So that is all for now. I'm really excited to see what the British team can produce at the Euro Indoor Champs. I'm sure it will be good, and given some of the names I've just mentioned to you, I do believe we can come home with quite a few medals. Poland topped the medal table last time, and I reckon it's GB's turn. So thank you for watching. Please like, comment, share and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.